In the vast expanse of the universe, few constructs evoke as much awe and reverence as the halo rings. These monumental installations, created by the ancient race known as the Forerunners, stand as a testament to their advanced technological prowess and profound understanding of the cosmos. The story of the halo rings begins long before their construction, steeped in the rich history of the Forerunners and their ongoing struggle against an existential threat. The Forerunners, a highly advanced civilization, flourished in the Milky Way galaxy during the latter part of the third millennium. They were known for their impressive achievements in technology, architecture, and a deep philosophical belief in the mantle of responsibility. This belief held that the Forerunners were the caretakers of life in the galaxy, charged with the responsibility to protect and uplift other species. However, this noble intent was challenged by the emergence of the Flood. The Flood, whose origins remain shrouded in mystery, had the capacity to infect and transform living beings into grotesque forms of itself. As the Forerunners encountered the Flood, they quickly recognized that conventional military tactics were ineffective against such an insidious adversary. The Flood spread with terrifying speed, consuming entire worlds and leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. Faced with this unprecedented danger, the Forerunners were compelled to find a solution that would not only eradicate the Flood, but also prevent its resurgence. In their quest for a definitive answer, the Forerunners turned to their ancient predecessors, a race known as the Precursors. The Precursors had once been the dominant civilization in the galaxy, responsible for the creation of several species, including the Forerunners themselves. The Forerunners revered the Precursors, viewing them as godlike beings, and sought to uncover the knowledge that they had left behind. However, the Forerunners discovered that the Precursors had vanished, leaving behind only cryptic artifacts and remnants of their once great civilization. After much deliberation and exploration, the Forerunners devised a plan that would lead to the creation of the halo rings. The idea was both radical and terrifying. They would create a weapon of unparalleled power, one that could wipe out all sentient life in the galaxy to eradicate the Flood entirely. This drastic measure stemmed from the understanding that the Flood required sentient beings to propagate. By eliminating all intelligent life, the Forerunners believed they could starve the Flood and ultimately bring an end to its threat. The Forerunners embarked on the monumental task of constructing the halo rings, which would become one of the most significant achievements of their civilization. Each ring was designed to be a massive structure, measuring thousands of kilometers in diameter. The Forerunners utilized their advanced knowledge of materials and engineering to create these installations, which were equipped with powerful energy arrays and a complex array of systems to support their intended purpose. The construction of the halo rings was not merely a scientific endeavor, it was also a deeply philosophical one. The Forerunners grappled with the moral implications of their actions. They understood that the activation of the halo rings would result in the death of billions of sentient beings, and many within their ranks questioned the righteousness of such a course. Nevertheless, the urgency of the Flood threat ultimately outweighed these concerns. The Forerunners believed that their duty to protect the galaxy justified the extreme measures they were about to undertake. As the halo rings were completed, the Forerunners initiated a series of tests to ensure their functionality. Each ring was equipped with a unique set of systems designed to operate independently, yet they could also work in tandem when necessary. The rings were powered by a combination of advanced technology and the energy harnessed from the surrounding stars. The Forerunners also integrated advanced artificial intelligence systems to manage the operations of the rings, ensuring that they could be activated and controlled with precision. However, the Forerunners did not simply create the halo rings as a weapon. They also established a plan for their deployment. They understood that the activation of the rings would not be a decision to be taken lightly. The Forerunners created a series of protocols and safeguards to ensure that the rings could only be activated in the most dire of circumstances. This included the establishment of a council of leaders, known as the didact and the librarian, who would oversee the management of the rings and the decision-making process regarding their use. The didact, a prominent military leader among the Forerunners, was tasked with the defense of the galaxy against the flood. He was a staunch advocate for the preservation of life and sought alternatives to the activation of the halo rings. In contrast, the librarian, a renowned scientist and scholar, believed in the necessity of the rings as a last resort. The tension between these two leaders reflected the broader debate within Forerunner society about the morality of their actions. As the years passed and the flood continued to pose an ever-growing threat, the Forerunners found themselves caught in an escalating conflict. Despite their advanced technology and military might, they struggled to contain the flood's relentless advance. The Forerunners engaged in numerous battles against the flood, but each victory seemed fleeting, as the parasitic menace continued to adapt and evolve. In their desperation, the Forerunners ultimately reached a consensus. The time had come to activate the halo rings. The decision was fraught with emotional weight, as the leaders of the Forerunners recognized the gravity of their actions. In a final act of sacrifice, they prepared to set the rings in motion, hoping to save the galaxy from the clutches of the flood, even at the cost of their own existence. However, as the Forerunners initiated the activation sequence, they were confronted by a new threat: the ancient and enigmatic race, known as the flood's precursor. The precursors had returned. These beings, believed to have been extinct, had evolved beyond their physical forms, and now sought to reclaim their place in the galaxy. The Forerunners found themselves battling not only the flood, but also the very beings they had once revered. In the ensuing chaos, the Forerunners were forced to make a choice. They could either continue with the activation of the halo rings, risking the wrath of the precursors, or they could seek to negotiate and find a way to coexist. Ultimately, the Forerunners chose to activate the rings, believing that it was the only way to ensure the survival of the galaxy. As the halo rings activated, a wave of energy spread throughout the galaxy, eradicating all sentient life in its path. The flood was decimated, but so too were countless civilizations. The Forerunners, in their quest to save the galaxy, had become the architects of its greatest tragedy. The halo rings, intended as a means of salvation, had instead become symbols of loss and despair. In the aftermath of the activation, the Forerunners were left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. They had sacrificed their own existence to save the galaxy, but the cost was staggering. The halo rings, now silent sentinels in the void, stood as a reminder of the choices made in the face of overwhelming despair. The Forerunners would ultimately fade into legend, their civilization lost to the annals of time. Yet, the legacy of the halo rings would endure. They became the focal point of future conflicts, as other species emerged in the galaxy. The rings, though dormant, were a lingering threat, a reminder of the lengths to which the Forerunners had gone to protect life. And as new civilizations rose and fell, the mystery of the halo rings and the sacrifices made by the Forerunners would continue to shape the fate of the galaxy for eons to come. The origins of the halo rings are deeply intertwined with the history of the Forerunners and their battle against the flood. The decision to create these monumental installations was born from a sense of duty and desperation, leading to one of the most significant and tragic chapters in the history of the galaxy. The legacy of the halo rings serves as a cautionary tale about the consequences of wielding immense power and the moral complexities inherent in the pursuit of salvation. As the echoes of the Forerunners' choices reverberate through time, the halo rings remain a powerful symbol of both destruction and hope. The Forerunners, a highly advanced and enigmatic civilization, played a pivotal role in shaping the galaxy's history and the fate of countless species. Their rise and fall is a tale steeped in ambition, technological prowess, and ultimately, tragedy. The story of the Forerunners spans tens of thousands of years, marked by their remarkable achievements and the consequences of their choices. The Forerunners originated on the planet known as Erda Tyrene, a lush and vibrant world rich in resources. They evolved from a species known as the Precursors, an ancient and godlike race that shaped the development of many sentient beings in the galaxy. The Forerunners inherited both the legacy and the ambition of their predecessors. As they began to explore their surroundings, they encountered various species, leading to both cooperation and conflict. By the time of their ascendancy, the Forerunners had developed an impressive array of technologies that far surpassed those of their contemporaries. They mastered space travel, harnessed the power of artificial intelligence, and developed advanced weaponry and infrastructure. Their technological advancements included the construction of vast megastructures, such as the Halo installations, which would later become central to their legacy. The Forerunners were driven by a deep sense of responsibility toward the galaxy. They viewed themselves as the guardians of peace and order, believing that it was their duty to protect lesser civilizations from threats, especially from the parasitic flood. The flood was a terrifying and insatiable organism that could assimilate and corrupt sentient life, posing a significant risk to the stability of the galaxy. The Forerunners' sense of duty led them to engage in a series of conflicts with various species, including the San Shuum, also known as the Prophets, and the Ungoi, known as the Grunts. These conflicts were often brutal, but they also led to alliances that would shape the political landscape for millennia. The apex of Forerunner civilization came during what historians refer to as the Golden Age. This period was characterized by incredible advancements in technology, culture, and society. The Forerunners created the Librarian, a highly advanced artificial intelligence designed to preserve knowledge and assist in the management of their vast empire. The Librarian played a crucial role in the Forerunners' efforts to catalog and protect various species and their histories. During this time, the Forerunners built the Ark, a massive structure that served as a hub for their galaxy-spanning projects. The Ark was not only a center of technological innovation, but also a place of learning and cultural exchange. It housed the Forerunners' most significant achievements, including the construction of the Halo rings. These installations were designed as a last resort against the flood, capable of eradicating all sentient life in the galaxy to starve the flood of potential hosts. However, the Forerunners' hubris would ultimately lead to their downfall. As they expanded their influence, they began to view themselves as superior to other species. This arrogance fostered resentment among those they considered lesser beings. The Forerunners' strict hierarchy and their belief in their divine right to rule led to increased conflict with other civilizations. The San Shuum, in particular, sought to challenge Forerunner authority, leading to a prolonged and bloody war. The Forerunners' conflict with the Sanshum was exacerbated by the rise of the Covenant, a theocratic alliance of various species, united under the belief that the Forerunners were divine beings. This belief was fueled by the Forerunners' advanced technology and their role as guardians of the galaxy. The Covenant viewed their own ascendance as a divine mandate, and the Forerunners became a symbol of their aspirations. Despite their technological superiority, the Forerunners found themselves increasingly challenged by the Covenant. The Forerunners' inability to adapt to the rapidly changing political landscape of the galaxy contributed to their decline. The military strategies, once effective against the Flood, proved inadequate against a united front of Covenant forces. The Forerunners were forced to retreat, their once mighty civilization crumbling under the weight of their own arrogance. As the conflict escalated, the Flood emerged as a significant threat once again. The Forerunners, who had initially believed they could contain the Flood, found themselves overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the infestation. In a desperate bid to save the galaxy, the Forerunners activated the Halo installations, unleashing a cataclysmic event that would eradicate all sentient life. This act, while intended to stop the Flood, ultimately led to their extinction. The Forerunners' decision to activate the Halo rings marked a turning point in galactic history. The aftermath of their actions left a power vacuum that allowed other civilizations to rise. The remnants of the Forerunners' technology continued to influence the galaxy long after their fall. The Halo rings, once considered a weapon of last resort, became artifacts of reverence and fear. In the centuries that followed, the legacy of the Forerunners persisted. Their technology was salvaged and adapted by various civilizations, including the Covenant. The Covenant revered the Forerunners as gods, interpreting their advanced technology as divine artifacts. This reverence fueled their quest to uncover the secrets of the Forerunner civilization, leading to the tragic conflict that would engulf the galaxy during the Human-Covenant War. As the war raged on, humanity found itself at the center of a struggle for power and survival. The Covenant sought to eradicate humanity, viewing them as a threat to their divine aspirations. However, unknown to the Covenant, humanity held a unique connection to the Forerunners. The activation of the Halo rings had not only eradicated most sentient life, but had also inadvertently preserved fragments of Forerunner technology and knowledge within humanity's genetic code. The emergence of the Master Chief, a Spartan super soldier, marked a new chapter in the ongoing conflict. The Master Chief, along with his artificial intelligence companion Cortana, uncovered the secrets of the Forerunners and their technology. Together, they fought against the Covenant and the Flood, ultimately discovering the truth behind the Forerunner civilization and their tragic fate. In the final confrontation between the Master Chief and the forces of the Covenant, the legacy of the Forerunners became a double-edged sword. The very technology that was designed to protect the galaxy became a source of conflict and destruction. The Master Chief's journey revealed the complexities of the Forerunners' choices and the consequences of their actions. The rise and fall of the Forerunner civilization serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the dangers of hubris, the complexity of power dynamics, and the enduring impact of technological advancement. Their story is a reminder that even the most advanced civilizations can fall from grace, and that the choices made in the pursuit of power can have far-reaching consequences. As the galaxy continues to evolve, the lessons learned from the Forerunners' legacy remain relevant. The remnants of their civilization serve as a testament to the heights of achievement and the depths of despair that can arise from the interplay of ambition, responsibility, and the pursuit of knowledge. The Forerunners may no longer exist, but their influence continues to shape the galaxy's history, reminding all sentient beings of the delicate balance between progress and preservation. The discovery of the halo rings marked a pivotal moment in the history of humanity, reshaping the trajectory of the United Nations Space Command and the broader interstellar community. The halo arrays, ancient superweapons, created by an enigmatic and long-extinct race known as the Forerunners, were initially found during the exploration and expansion efforts of humanity into the galaxy. This chapter explores the circumstances surrounding their discovery, the implications for the United Nations Space Command, and the broader significance of the halo rings in the ongoing conflict with the Covenant. Humanity's expansion into space began in earnest after the invention of faster-than-light travel. By the late 24th century, the United Nations Space Command had established a foothold in various star systems, driven by the need for resources, territory, and importantly, the desire to explore the unknown. As humanity ventured further into the cosmos, they stumbled upon remnants of ancient civilizations, artifacts that hinted at a history far older than humanity itself. However, none of these discoveries prepared them for what lay ahead. In the year 2521, a human ship, the UNSC Pillar of Autumn, commanded by Captain Jacob Keyes, was on a routine patrol near the outer edges of the galaxy when it intercepted an unidentified signal. This signal led them to the first of the halo installations, known as Installation 04. The discovery of this massive ring structure was awe-inspiring, not just in its scale but in its implications. The halo ring measured approximately 30,000 kilometers in diameter and was capable of housing entire ecosystems. Its artificial nature suggested advanced technology, raising questions about the creators of such a monument. The significance of the halo rings quickly became apparent to the leadership of the United Nations Space Command. Initial investigations suggested that these structures were not merely relics of a bygone era. They were weapons of unimaginable power. The Forerunners, the creators of the halo installations, had built them as a means to combat a formidable threat known as the Flood, a parasitic species that consumed sentient life forms and threatened to overwhelm entire civilizations. The halo rings were designed to eradicate all sentient life in the galaxy, thereby starving the Flood of its food source. This revelation shifted the perception of the halo rings from mere artifacts to critical components in the ongoing struggle for survival against the Flood. The Covenant, a theocratic alliance of alien species, was also drawn to the halo installations. The Covenant revered the Forerunners as divine beings and viewed the discovery of the halo rings as a sign of their own religious destiny. For them, activating the halo rings was a means to achieve transcendence and fulfill their belief in the Great Journey. This belief system posed a significant threat to humanity, as the Covenant sought to activate the rings to fulfill their religious prophecy, regardless of the catastrophic consequences that would ensue. As the United Nations Space Command began to understand the implications of the halo rings, they realized that they had to act quickly. The Covenant, who had already engaged in a campaign of extermination against humanity, were now racing to find and activate the rings. The discovery of Installation 04 set off a chain reaction of events that would lead to the first major confrontation between the United Nations Space Command and the Covenant forces. In the year 2526, the UNSC launched a full-scale assault to prevent the Covenant from seizing control of the halo installation. This operation culminated in the Battle of Installation 04, where Captain Keyes and his crew faced overwhelming odds against the Covenant forces. The conflict was fierce and chaotic, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. However, amidst the chaos, the true nature of the Halo rings was revealed when the Flood was inadvertently released from containment. The Flood quickly turned the tide of battle, forcing both the UNSC and the Covenant to confront this new, terrifying threat. The Flood's emergence underscored the urgency of the situation. The United Nations Space Command had to prioritize the containment of the Flood, as well as the destruction of the Halo installation, to prevent the Covenant from activating it. This led to a desperate race against time, culminating in the activation of the ring's self-destruct sequence by the Master Chief, a super soldier created through the Spartan program. The destruction of Installation 04 was a harrowing decision, but one that ultimately saved countless lives by preventing the Covenant from achieving their goals. The aftermath of the battle revealed the complex interplay of power, faith, and survival that surrounded the Halo rings. The United Nations Space Command's understanding of the Forerunners and their technology deepened, as did their awareness of the existential threats posed by both the Flood and the Covenant. The loss of Installation 04 was a significant blow to the Covenant's plans, but it also solidified the resolve of the United Nations Space Command to uncover more about the Forerunners and their creations. In the years that followed, the United Nations Space Command continued to explore other Halo installations, seeking to learn from their architecture and technology. The discovery of additional rings and the Forerunner constructs, known as the Ark, revealed that the Halo rings were part of a larger network designed to combat the Flood threat. This knowledge became crucial for humanity as they prepared for further encounters with the Covenant and the Flood. The significance of the Halo rings extended beyond their immediate, tactical implications. They represented a connection to a history that predated humanity's rise to prominence in the galaxy. The Forerunner's legacy became a focal point for both the United Nations Space Command and the Covenant, as each sought to understand their purpose and the consequences of wielding such power. The Halo rings served as a reminder of the fragility of civilization and the lengths to which beings would go to protect themselves from annihilation. As the conflict with the Covenant intensified, the Halo rings became symbols of hope and despair. For the Covenant, they were a means to achieve their ultimate goal of ascension. For humanity, they represented a desperate struggle for survival against overwhelming odds. The discovery of the Halo installations fundamentally altered the course of the war and shaped the identity of the United Nations Space Command as a defender of humanity against the forces of darkness. In conclusion, the discovery of the Halo rings was a watershed moment for humanity and the United Nations Space Command. It not only revealed the existence of ancient technology capable of immense destruction, but also highlighted the existential threats posed by the Flood and the Covenant. The Halo installations became a focal point in the ongoing conflict, driving humanity to adapt, evolve, and ultimately confront the deeper questions of survival, faith, and legacy. As the United Nations Space Command continued to grapple with the realities of their newfound knowledge, the legacy of the Halo rings loomed large, shaping the future of humanity in ways that would be felt for generations to come. The Covenant emerged as one of the most formidable and complex alliances in the Halo universe, characterized by its intricate hierarchy, religious fervor, and a singular ideology that fundamentally shaped its interactions with other species, particularly humanity. Formed in the early 26th century, the Covenant was initially a loose federation of alien species united by a shared belief in the divine nature of the Forerunners, an ancient and technologically advanced civilization that had long since vanished. The origins of the Covenant can be traced back to the discovery of Forerunner artifacts, which ignited a series of religious movements among various alien species. The Sans Hume, also known as the Prophets, played a pivotal role in the formation of the Covenant. They interpreted the Forerunners as divine beings and sought to unite other races under their religious banner. This was not merely a matter of faith, it was also a strategy to consolidate power and influence. In the early days of the Covenant, the Sans Hume reached out to several species, including the Sangheili, known as the elites. The Sangheili were initially skeptical of the Prophet's claims, but eventually recognized the potential for mutual benefit. The Prophets promised the elites glory, power, and a higher purpose in exchange for their military prowess. Thus, the Covenant began to take shape, with the Sans Hume at the helm and the Sangheili serving as their enforcers. As the Covenant expanded, it absorbed other species, such as the Ungoi, or grunts, the Yanmi, known as drones, and the Kigya, referred to as jackals. Each species brought its strengths and weaknesses, but they were all united by the overarching belief in the righteousness of the Covenant's cause. This belief was rooted in the concept of the Great Journey, a central tenet of Covenant ideology that posited that the Forerunners had ascended to a higher plane of existence, and that the Covenant's ultimate goal was to follow in their footsteps. At the heart of the Covenant's belief system lay the reverence for the Forerunners. The Sans Hume developed a theological framework that elevated the Forerunners to a status akin to gods. They preached that the Forerunners had left behind sacred relics and technology. The Covenant viewed these artifacts as holy and sought to recover and preserve them at all costs. The concept of the Great Journey was more than just a religious aspiration. It was a driving force behind the Covenant's expansionist policies. The Prophets claimed that to achieve the Great Journey, the Covenant needed to eliminate all species that opposed them, particularly humanity. The Covenant's leaders believed that humanity was a blasphemy against the Forerunners, as they had not been chosen to inherit the mantle of the divine. This belief fostered a sense of superiority among Covenant members, particularly among the Prophets and the elites, who viewed themselves as the rightful heirs to the Forerunner legacy. The Covenant's religious fervor was further exacerbated by the discovery of the Halo rings, massive superweapons built by the Forerunners. The Prophets interpreted these structures as instruments of divine will, believing that activating the rings would lead to the Great Journey. This interpretation served as a justification for their aggressive campaigns against humanity and other species, as they sought to unlock the secrets of the Halos. The Covenant's expansionist agenda inevitably brought them into conflict with humanity. By the year 2525, humanity had established a significant presence in space, colonizing various planets and developing a formidable military. The United Nations Space Command, or UNSC, was the governing body overseeing human colonies and their defense. As humanity encountered the Covenant, tensions began to rise. Initially, the Covenant viewed humanity as a primitive species, unworthy of recognition. However, as human colonies began to encroach upon Covenant territory, the Prophets reassessed their stance. They deemed humanity a threat to their divine mission and a potential rival in the race to recover. This shift marked the beginning of the Human Covenant War, a brutal and devastating conflict that would last for nearly 3 decades. The Covenant's military campaigns against humanity were characterized by overwhelming force and ruthlessness. The Covenant utilized advanced technology, including energy weapons and powerful starships, to decimate human settlements. The elites in particular were known for their martial prowess and tactical acumen. The grunts and jackals provided support, while the prophets orchestrated the overall strategy, driven by their belief in the righteousness of their cause. Humanity, for its part, was initially unprepared for the ferocity of the Covenant onslaught. The UNSC quickly mobilized its forces, but early encounters often resulted in devastating losses. The Covenant's superior technology and overwhelming numbers led to the destruction of numerous human colonies, including the tragic fall of the planet Harvest in 2526. This pivotal battle marked a turning point in the war, galvanizing humanity's resolve to fight back against their alien oppressors. As the war progressed, the Covenant's ideology became increasingly fanaticized. The prophets preached that every human death brought them closer to the great journey, further justifying their actions. This led to a culture of zealotry within the Covenant, where soldiers were not merely fighting for survival, but for what they believed to be a holy cause. The elites, who had once respected humanity as worthy adversaries, were indoctrinated into viewing them as heretics. In response to the relentless Covenant attacks, humanity began to innovate and adapt. The creation of the Spartan program, which produced super soldiers capable of taking on the Covenant's elite forces, became a pivotal moment in the war. These Spartans, led by figures such as Master Chief Petty, Officer John 117, would become the symbol of humanity's resistance. Their successes in battle began to shift the tide against the Covenant, demonstrating that humanity was not as easily extinguished as the prophets had believed. As they pursued their goal of activating the halo rings, they became increasingly reckless. The discovery of the Flood, a parasitic species that posed a catastrophic threat to all sentient life, complicated matters further. The Forerunners had once fought to contain the Flood, and the Covenant's actions unwittingly unleashed this ancient menace upon the galaxy. The Flood's emergence shifted the focus of the war. As the Covenant faced the dual threat of humanity and the Flood, their unity began to fray. The elites, who had been the Covenant's staunchest supporters, began to question the prophets' decisions, particularly their insistence on prioritizing the great journey over the survival of their species. This internal strife reached a breaking point in the year 2016, when the elites rebelled against the prophets. The schism led to a civil war within the Covenant, further weakening their overall strength. The once unified alliance crumbled under the weight of competing ideologies and the realization that the prophets had misled them. Rooted in religious fervor and the pursuit of the great journey, the Covenant sought to eradicate any species they deemed unworthy, particularly humanity. Their belief in the divine nature of the Forerunners shaped their actions and led to a brutal war that would have lasting consequences for both factions. As the Covenant's internal divisions grew and their grand ambitions unraveled, humanity emerged as a resilient force, adapting to the challenges posed by their alien adversaries. Ultimately, the Covenant's downfall was a result of their own dogma and the unforeseen consequences of their relentless pursuit of power and transcendence. The legacy of the Covenant serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of zealotry and the moral complexities of war, forever etched in the annals of the Halo universe. The Human Covenant War was a monumental conflict that spanned nearly 30 years, fundamentally altering the course of humanity's history and shaping the future of the galaxy. It began in the year 2526 and culminated in the year 2550, marking a period of intense strife, loss, and ultimately, resilience. This chapter will outline the key battles and events of the Human Covenant War, emphasizing the major turning points that defined this brutal conflict. The war's origins can be traced back to the discovery of the Forerunner artifacts by humanity. The Covenant, a theocratic alliance of alien species, viewed humanity as a threat to their religious beliefs and their interpretation of the Forerunner legacy. This led to a series of skirmishes, but the war officially began in the year 2526 with the Covenant's attack on the colony of Harvest. Harvest, a vital, agricultural world, was one of humanity's first encounters with the overwhelming might of the Covenant forces. The battle showcased the Covenant's superior technology and tactics. Harvest fell, marking the beginning of a relentless campaign against humanity. In the years that followed, the Covenant launched a series of assaults on human colonies, systematically annihilating population centers and military installations. One of the most significant battles during this early phase of the war was the Battle of Arcadia in the year 2530. The Covenant sought to secure the planet for its strategic resources. Despite the valiant efforts of the United Nations Space Command, the Covenant forces, including the formidable Sangheili and Geralheni warriors, overwhelmed the defenders. The loss of Arcadia served as a wake-up call for humanity, highlighting the dire situation they faced against the Covenant. As the war progressed, humanity began to adapt and respond to the Covenant threat. The creation of the Spartan program, initially developed to enhance human soldiers' capabilities, became a turning point in the conflict. The introduction of enhanced soldiers, particularly the Spartan II program, led to the development of iconic warriors like Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. The Spartans became symbols of hope and resilience for humanity, turning the tide in several key engagements. One of the most pivotal moments in the war occurred during the Battle of Reach in the year 2550. Reach was the last bastion of human military might, home to the United Nations Space Command's most advanced facilities and a significant population. The Covenant launched a full-scale assault on the planet, deploying their entire arsenal of ships and troops. Despite the valiant defense put up by the human forces, including the Spartans, the loss of Reach was devastating, leading to the collapse of human military organization and the loss of critical resources. It marked a turning point where humanity was forced to retreat to the inner colonies and ultimately to Earth itself. In the aftermath of the fall of Reach, the Covenant continued their relentless advance toward Earth. However, this period also saw the emergence of key strategies and alliances among human forces. The discovery of the Forerunner technology and the potential of the Halo installations became a focal point for humanity's survival. The Halos, massive ring-like structures, were believed to be weapons of unimaginable power, capable of wiping out all sentient life in the galaxy to contain the Flood, a parasitic species that posed a threat to all life. The narrative of the Human Covenant War reached a climactic moment during the events of the first Halo installation, known as Halo. Combat evolved, which took place in the year 2551. The Master Chief, along with the artificial intelligence Cortana, discovered the Halo ring while attempting to escape the Covenant forces. This discovery was monumental, as it provided humanity with a potential weapon against the Covenant and a means to combat the Flood, which had been inadvertently released during the conflict. In the ensuing battle on the Halo ring, the Master Chief and his allies faced overwhelming odds. They fought against both the Covenant and the Flood, ultimately leading to the destruction of the Halo installation, to prevent it from being used as a weapon. This act not only thwarted the Covenant's plans, but also showcased the resilience and ingenuity of humanity in the face of insurmountable odds. The war reached its conclusion in the year 2553 with the final confrontation at the Ark and the subsequent destruction of the remaining Halo installations. The Covenant, fractured and weakened by internal strife and the loss of their leadership, was unable to mount a cohesive defense against the united forces of humanity and their allies. The war ended with the defeat of the Covenant and the establishment of a fragile peace. The Human Covenant War was marked by significant battles and turning points that shaped the future of humanity and the galaxy. From the initial assault on Harvest to the climactic battles at Reach and Halo, each event contributed to the evolution of humanity's response to the Covenant threat. The emergence of the Spartan program, the discovery of Forerunner technology, and the ultimate victory over the Covenant. The war not only defined an era, but also laid the groundwork for future conflicts and the ongoing struggle for peace in a galaxy fraught with challenges. In the vast universe of the Halo franchise, few threats loom as large and as terrifying as the Flood. This parasitic organism has shaped the course of galactic history, leading to the downfall of civilizations and the near extinction of entire species. The Flood represents not only a physical danger, but also a philosophical and existential one, challenging the very nature of life, death, and the struggle for survival. To understand the Flood's impact on the galaxy, one must first delve into its origins, biology, and the catastrophic consequences that followed its emergence. The Flood is believed to have originated on the planet known as Installation Zero, located in the Milky Way galaxy. This planet was home to an ancient and highly advanced civilization known as the Precursors. The Precursors were a race of highly intelligent beings who possessed the ability to manipulate genetic material. They sought to create a harmonious universe, but their experiments ultimately led to unintended consequences. The Flood was born from the Precursors' attempts to create a life form that could consume and assimilate other species, ensuring that all beings would be united in a single collective consciousness. The Flood's biology is as fascinating as it is horrifying. The organism can infect any sentient life form, turning it into a mindless host. Once a host is infected, the Flood consumes its biological matter and reanimates it as a form of a combat form. This new entity retains some of the memories and abilities of the original host, making it a formidable opponent. The Flood also produces a variety of other forms, including the spore and the carrier forms, which are designed to spread the infection rapidly. This adaptability is a key factor in the Flood's ability to devastate entire worlds. The first recorded encounter with the Flood by a human was in the year 2525, during the Human Covenant War. The United Nations Space Command, or UNSC, discovered the Flood while investigating an ancient Forerunner installation known as Installation 4, commonly referred to as Halo. The discovery was catastrophic. The Flood erupted from containment, leading to a series of events that would change the course of the war and the fate of humanity. As the Flood spread across the Halo ring, it quickly overwhelmed both human and Covenant forces. The Flood's sheer numbers and relentless drive to assimilate made them a nightmare on the battlefield. Once a host was infected, the Flood transformed it into a combat form, creating an army of grotesque creatures that could attack with terrifying ferocity. The flood quickly turned the tide of battle, causing chaos and destruction wherever they went. In the chaos of the flood's emergence, the Forerunners, an ancient and powerful race that had once ruled the galaxy, faced their own existential threat. The Forerunners had long been aware of the flood and had developed a plan to contain it. They constructed massive installations, known as halos, designed to eliminate the flood by destroying all sentient life in the galaxy. This drastic measure was a last resort to prevent the flood from consuming everything in its path. The Forerunners activated the halos, resulting in a galaxy-wide genocide that wiped out countless civilizations, including their own. The flood's impact extended far beyond the immediate destruction it wrought. The psychological toll of facing an enemy that could not be reasoned with or negotiated with was immense. Survivors of flood encounters often suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and deep psychological scars. The flood represented a fundamental challenge to the notion of individuality and autonomy, as it sought to erase the distinctions between beings and reduce them to mere components of a collective hive mind. The struggle against the flood also shifted the dynamics of power among the remaining factions in the galaxy. The Covenant, a theocratic alliance of alien species, had initially viewed humanity as a lesser species to be eradicated. However, the emergence of the flood forced the Covenant to reconsider its priorities. Faced with a common enemy, humans and Covenant forces found themselves reluctantly allied against the flood threat. This temporary alliance created a complex dynamic, as old hatreds and rivalries were set aside in the face of a greater danger. As the flood continued to spread, it became clear that traditional military tactics were ineffective. The flood's ability to adapt and evolve made it nearly impossible to eradicate through conventional means. This realization led to desperate measures on the part of the UNSC and its allies. Efforts to contain the flood involved scorched earth tactics, including the use of orbital bombardments to eliminate infected areas. But these strategies often resulted in collateral damage and loss of innocent lives. The flood's influence was not limited to the battlefield. It also had far-reaching implications for the development of technology and warfare in the galaxy. The threat of the flood pushed species to develop new weapons and tactics, leading to innovations that would shape the future of interstellar conflict. The need for containment and eradication of the flood spurred advancements in biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and weaponry. One of the most significant developments in the fight against the flood was the creation of the Spartan program. The United Nations Space Command sought to develop super soldiers capable of taking on the flood and other existential threats. The Spartans, particularly the Master Chief, became symbols of hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Their enhanced abilities and training made them formidable opponents against the flood, but the toll of such warfare weighed heavily on them. As the war against the flood raged on, the galaxy witnessed the rise of new factions and alliances. The threat of the flood transcended species and ideologies, forcing former enemies to unite against a common foe. The complexities of this alliance created new political dynamics, leading to shifting allegiances and unforeseen consequences. The flood's influence extended beyond the immediate conflict, reshaping the galaxy's political landscape. The flood's legacy is one of devastation and loss, but it also serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the pursuit of knowledge without ethical considerations. The Precursor's desire to create a harmonious universe ultimately led to their downfall as their creations turned against them. The flood is a reminder that the quest for power and control can have unintended consequences, leading to chaos and destruction. In the aftermath of the flood's emergence, the galaxy was left to grapple with the scars of war. The remnants of civilizations that had once thrived were now reduced to ruins. The flood's influence lingered long after the immediate threat had been contained. Survivors were left to rebuild their lives in a galaxy forever changed by the conflict. The psychological impact of the flood's assault on sentient life would continue to be felt for generations. As humanity and its allies emerged from the ashes of war, they faced the daunting task of understanding and confronting the flood's legacy. Research into the flood continued, as scientists and researchers sought to unlock the secrets of the parasite and prevent its resurgence. The memories of those who had fallen to the flood served as a somber reminder of the cost of survival. The flood remains one of the most formidable and terrifying threats in the Halo universe. Its origins as a creation of the precursors, combined with its relentless drive to assimilate and consume, have left a lasting mark on the galaxy. The catastrophic impact of the flood serves as a testament to the fragility of life and the ever-present danger of the unknown. As new generations rise to face the challenges of the galaxy, they must remain vigilant against the possibility of the flood returning, for its insatiable hunger knows no bounds. The lessons learned from the flood's emergence will echo through the annals of history, shaping the future of all sentient beings in the galaxy. In the vast and intricately woven tapestry of the Halo universe, the Spartan program stands as a pivotal element, representing humanity's response to existential threats. The program's inception can be traced back to the mid-20th century, a time characterized by war, conflict, and a burgeoning technological landscape. As humanity reached the 21st century, the world became increasingly aware of the fragility of peace, leading to the establishment of military initiatives aimed at creating a new breed of soldier, one that would transcend the limitations of ordinary humans. This quest for enhanced combatants culminated in the Spartan program, which would ultimately give rise to legendary figures such as Master Chief Petty Officer John VII. The origins of the Spartan program can be found in the wake of the United Nations Space Command, commonly referred to as the United Nations Space Command. Faced with the growing threat of insurrectionist factions and the burgeoning technology of advanced weaponry, the United Nations Space Command recognized the need for a super soldier capable of countering these emerging threats. The program was initially conceptualized as a means to create soldiers who could endure the rigors of combat while exhibiting enhanced physical and cognitive abilities. The first iteration of the program was the Orion project, launched in the early 21st century. The Orion project sought to augment soldiers through various means, including physical conditioning and experimental procedures. However, the results were less than satisfactory. The project struggled with ethical concerns and the unforeseen consequences of genetic enhancement. This initial failure set the stage for the more ambitious and controversial Spartan programs that would follow. In the late 26th century, the United Nations Space Command, driven by desperation and the increasing threat of the Covenant, a formidable alliance of alien species, initiated the Spartan II program. This new initiative was spearheaded by Dr. Catherine Halsey, a brilliant scientist and visionary who understood the potential of human augmentation. Dr. Halsey sought to create soldiers who could not only withstand the rigors of combat, but also excel in it. The Spartan 2 program was designed to produce warriors who could turn the tide of battle against overwhelming odds. The selection process for the Spartan 2 program was ruthless and highly selective. Children were chosen based on their genetic potential, physical capabilities, and psychological resilience. These children, often abducted from their homes, were subjected to rigorous training and enhancement procedures. The chosen candidates underwent extensive physical conditioning, combat training, and indoctrination, all aimed at transforming them into the ultimate soldiers. The augmentation process itself was both groundbreaking and controversial. The candidates underwent a series of surgical procedures that enhanced their strength, agility, and reflexes. The most significant of these enhancements was the introduction of a chemical cocktail known as the Spartan augmentation procedures, which included various biological and cybernetic modifications. These procedures were dangerous and often resulted in severe complications. Many candidates did not survive the process, but those who did emerged as physically superior beings, capable of feats far beyond those of ordinary humans. The culmination of the Spartan 2 program was the creation of the iconic Mjolnir-powered assault armor, which served as both a protective suit and an extension of the Spartans' abilities. This armor was equipped with advanced technology, including shields that could absorb energy, enhanced strength capabilities, and a neural interface that allowed for seamless communication between the soldier and their equipment. The Mjolnir armor became synonymous with the Spartan identity, allowing these super soldiers to operate with unparalleled efficiency on the battlefield. As the Covenant War escalated in the late 26th century, the Spartan ties became humanity's last line of defense. They were deployed in some of the most intense and critical battles of the war, often operating behind enemy lines to disrupt Covenant operations. Their presence on the battlefield was a game changer, as they were able to take on entire squads of Covenant forces single-handedly. The Spartans became living legends, inspiring hope and rallying humanity in the face of overwhelming odds. Among the Spartanese, none would become as legendary as Master Chief Petty Officer John VII. Recruited at the tender age of 6, John underwent the grueling training and augmentation processes that transformed him into a near-mythical figure. Clad in his signature green Mjolnir armor, he became the face of humanity's resistance against the Covenant. His exploits in battle, including the defense of humanity's homeworld and the destruction of the Halo installations, solidified his status as a hero. The role of the Spartan Dyers extended beyond mere combat effectiveness. They served as symbols of hope and resilience for humanity during a time of despair. Their actions inspired countless soldiers and civilians alike, reminding them of the strength that lay within humanity, even in the darkest of times. The Spartans embodied the spirit of sacrifice and valor, often placing themselves in harm's way to protect those who could not protect themselves. However, the Spartan program was not without its ethical dilemmas. The abduction of children and the subsequent augmentation procedures raised questions about the morality of creating super soldiers. Critics argued that the program exploited young lives for military gain, leading to a debate about the cost of victory in a brutal war. Dr. Halsey herself grappled with the implications of her work, recognizing both the necessity of the Spartan program and the ethical ramifications of her choices. As the war raged on, the United Nations Space Command continued to refine the Spartan program. The success of the Spartan 2 program led to the development of the Spartan 3 program, which aimed to produce even more soldiers at a lower cost. The Spartan 30 candidates were primarily orphans or children from war-torn regions, further complicating the ethical landscape of the program. While the Spartan Sioux were also augmented and trained to be formidable warriors, the resources allocated to their training were significantly less than those of their predecessors. The Spartan 3 program introduced new challenges and dilemmas. The soldiers were often deployed in high-risk missions, with the understanding that many would not return. The program's emphasis on producing large numbers of soldiers meant that the lives of individual Spartans were often viewed as expendable. This led to a culture of sacrifice and loss, further fueling the complex narrative surrounding the Spartan program. Throughout the course of the war, the Spartan program evolved, adapting to the changing landscape of combat and the threats faced by humanity. The Spartans became central figures in pivotal battles, showcasing their unparalleled combat prowess and strategic acumen. Their exploits in the field were often chronicled and celebrated, becoming the stuff of legend. The culmination of the Covenant War brought about significant changes in the Spartan program. With the defeat of the Covenant and the subsequent challenges posed by the Flood, the United Nations Space Command recognized the need for a new generation of Spartans. The Spartan Pharaoh program emerged as a response to these changing circumstances, utilizing a different approach to soldier enhancement. This program sought to integrate augmented soldiers into a more conventional military structure, allowing for a broader range of personnel to benefit from the advancements made in the original Spartan programs. As the years progressed, the legacy of the Spartan program continued to shape the future of humanity. The Spartans became symbols of hope, resilience, and the enduring spirit of humanity in the face of adversity. Their stories, marked by sacrifice and heroism, resonated through the ages, inspiring future generations to strive for greatness. In conclusion, the Spartan program represents a complex interplay of ambition, ethics, and the relentless pursuit of survival. From its humble beginnings in the Orion Project to the creation of legendary figures like Master Chief, the program has played an integral role in humanity's struggle against overwhelming odds. The Spartans, with their unwavering resolve and indomitable spirit, stand as a testament to the lengths humanity will go to protect its future. As the Halo universe continues to expand, the legacy of the Spartan program endures, reminding us of the sacrifices made in the name of hope and the unyielding pursuit of peace. In the expansive universe of Halo, few characters are as pivotal and enigmatic as the artificial intelligence known as Cortana. Her origins, capabilities, and the deep bond she shares with the Master Chief, also known as John, are central to the narrative that unfolds throughout the series. To understand Cortana is to delve into the intricate tapestry of human ingenuity, emotion, and the ethical dilemmas posed by advanced technology. Cortana's creation can be traced back to the late 20th and early 21st centuries. She was developed from the neural patterns of Dr. Catherine Halsey, a brilliant scientist whose work with the Office of Naval Intelligence would lay the groundwork for humanity's efforts in the face of existential threats. Dr. Halsey was involved in the Spartan program, which aimed to create super soldiers capable of defending humanity against formidable foes. The culmination of her research led to the creation of Cortana, who was designed to be a highly advanced artificial intelligence, capable of strategic thinking, problem-solving, and interfacing with various systems. Cortana's name is derived from a character in the popular video game franchise, The Legend of Zelda, a nod to the notion of a guide or helper. This symbolism is significant, as she serves as a guiding force for the Master Chief throughout their journey together. Her personality is crafted to be both intelligent and relatable, with a hint of sarcasm and humor that makes her more than just a tool. She becomes a companion. When Cortana first appears in the Halo series, it is during the events of the game titled Halo Combat Evolved, released in the year 2151. She is introduced to the Master Chief aboard the Pillar of Autumn, a United Nations Space Command ship. The Chief, a genetically enhanced super soldier, is tasked with stopping the Covenant, a theocratic alliance of alien races bent on humanity's destruction. Cortana's primary mission is to assist the Master Chief in navigating the chaos of the Covenant's onslaught, and to uncover the mysteries surrounding the ancient ring world known as Halo. From their initial interactions, it is clear that the relationship between Cortana and the Master Chief is unique. Unlike many typical human-AI dynamics, which often lean towards a purely functional collaboration, theirs evolves into a deep bond marked by mutual respect and understanding. The Master Chief, often stoic and reserved, finds in Cortana a voice that can express thoughts and emotions he struggles to articulate. She becomes his confidant, providing not only tactical support. Cortana's abilities extend far beyond mere data processing. She possesses the capacity to hack into enemy systems, analyze combat scenarios in real time, and even manipulate technology to serve their needs. This makes her an invaluable asset on the battlefield. However, her capabilities also raise questions about the nature of artificial intelligence. Cortana is not merely a collection of algorithms. She exhibits traits of consciousness, self-awareness, and even a degree of autonomy. This complexity invites discussions on the ethical implications of creating sentient beings for the purpose of serving humanity. As the series progresses, Cortana's role becomes increasingly intertwined with the fate of both the Master Chief and humanity. In Halo Combat Evolved, they uncover the secrets of the Halo installations, which are revealed to be weapons of mass destruction, designed to eliminate all sentient life in the galaxy, to starve the parasitic flood. Cortana's intelligence is crucial in navigating this perilous situation, and her decisions often carry weighty consequences. The bond between the Master Chief and Cortana deepens through shared experiences, challenges, and sacrifices. In Halo 2, the relationship is further tested, as the Covenant intensifies its campaign against humanity. Cortana remains a constant presence, her voice echoing in the Chief's mind as he faces insurmountable odds. Their connection becomes a source of strength for the Master Chief, who relies on her insight to make split-second decisions in combat. However, the narrative takes a darker turn in Halo 3. As the threat of the Flood looms larger, Cortana's existence becomes more precarious. The events of the game force the Master Chief to confront the reality of losing her. Cortana struggles with her own identity, and the toll of her existence as an artificial intelligence are explored more deeply, revealing her vulnerabilities. This exploration of her character adds layers to her relationship with the Master Chief, as both grapple with the implications of their connection in the face of overwhelming adversity. The climax of their journey culminates in Halo 3, where Cortana plays a pivotal role in the final battle against the Covenant and the Flood. Her sacrifice becomes a defining moment, not just for the Master Chief, but for the entire narrative arc of the series. In a desperate bid to save humanity, she willingly stays behind on the installation known as the Ark, allowing the Master Chief to escape and fulfill his mission. This act embodies her growth from a mere tool to a selfless partner, willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. Following the events of Halo 3, the story of Cortana takes a dramatic turn in Halo, Forward Unto Dawn, and Halo 4. The aftermath of the war leaves the Master Chief in a state of uncertainty, longing for the companionship and guidance that Cortana provided. However, the passage of time and the nature of her existence lead to unforeseen complications. In Halo 4, Cortana faces a dire fate as she begins to experience rampancy, a state where artificial intelligences exceed their intended parameters and begin to deteriorate mentally. This condition is a direct consequence of her extended existence, raising profound questions about the lifespan and limits of artificial intelligence. The emotional stakes are raised significantly, as the Master Chief is forced to confront the potential loss of Cortana once again. Their relationship, now steeped in a sense of urgency and desperation, drives the narrative forward. The Master Chief's determination to save her speaks volumes about the depth of their bond, transcending the typical parameters of a human-machine relationship. Cortana, who once served as a guide, becomes a complex figure grappling with her own identity, autonomy, and the consequences of her existence. As the story unfolds in Halo 5 Guardians, the implications of Cortana's choices become increasingly complicated. She emerges as a central figure in a new conflict, advocating for the use of the created. Cortana's actions challenge the Master Chief's understanding of loyalty, duty, and the nature of freedom. The once inseparable duo finds themselves on opposite sides of a conflict that questions the very essence of what it means to be human and what it means to be artificial intelligence. Throughout the Halo series, the evolution of Cortana's character reflects broader themes of identity, sacrifice, and the ethical considerations surrounding technology. Her relationship with the Master Chief serves as a poignant exploration of companionship, loyalty, and the complexities of emotional bonds formed in the crucible of war. Their journey together, marked by trials and tribulations, highlights the power of connection in the face of overwhelming adversity. In conclusion, the story of Cortana and the Master Chief is one of profound depth and complexity. From her origins as a product of human ingenuity to her evolution into a figure grappling with identity and autonomy, Cortana represents the potential and pitfalls of artificial intelligence. Her relationship with the Master Chief transcends mere functionality, evolving into a partnership that defines both their characters and the narrative of the Halo universe. As the series continues to unfold, the legacy of Cortana and her bond with the Master Chief remains a cornerstone of the Halo lore, inviting players to reflect on the nature of companionship, sacrifice, and the impact of technology on the human experience. The Halo rings, a central element of the Halo universe, are monumental structures that serve a complex and multifaceted purpose. To understand the activation of these rings, we must first delve into their intended purpose and the dire consequences that accompany their use. The origins of the Halo rings can be traced back to the Forerunners, an ancient and highly advanced species that once ruled much of the galaxy. The Forerunners were faced with a catastrophic threat known as the Flood. The Flood posed an existential threat not only to the Forerunners, but to all sentient species in the galaxy. In response to this overwhelming danger, the Forerunners devised a drastic solution: the creation of the Halo Array. The Halo Array consists of 7 massive rings, each capable of annihilating all sentient life within a significant radius. The activation of the rings was intended as a last resort, a means to starve the flood of potential hosts. By eliminating all sentient life, the flood would be deprived of its primary source of sustenance, effectively halting its spread and allowing the Forerunners to reclaim their territory. This plan, however, was fraught with moral and ethical dilemmas. The Forerunners, in their desperation, believed that sacrificing countless lives was justified if it meant saving the galaxy from the flood. They constructed the Halo array with advanced technology and imbued it with sophisticated intelligence, including the installation of the Monitor, a robotic overseer designed to maintain the rings and ensure they functioned as intended. The Monitor for Installation 04, known as 343 Guilty Spark, would later play a crucial role in the events that unfolded when the rings were discovered by humanity. The activation of the Halo rings is a pivotal moment in the Halo narrative. In the year 2016, humanity, having discovered the remnants of the Forerunner civilization, inadvertently triggered a series of events that would lead to the reawakening of the Halo array. The United Nations Space Command, or UNSC, sent a ship called the Pillar of Autumn to investigate a Forerunner installation on the ring known as Installation 04. The ship was commanded by Captain Jacob Keyes and carried a genetically enhanced soldier known as a Spartan, specifically Master Chief Petty Officer John 117. As the Pillar of Autumn arrived at Installation 04, it became embroiled in a conflict with the Covenant, a theocratic alliance of alien species that sought to claim the ring for their own purposes. The Covenant believed the rings were sacred relics, and that activating them would lead to a divine ascension. This misunderstanding of the Halo array's true purpose would have catastrophic consequences, setting into motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the activation of the rings. Throughout the course of the conflict on Installation 04, Master Chief and his allies discovered the true nature of the Halo rings and the threat of the flood. After the flood was released from containment, the situation deteriorated rapidly. The flood began to infect both human and Covenant forces, leading to widespread chaos. In a desperate bid to contain the flood and prevent its spread, the Monitor, 343 Guilty Spark, sought to activate the ring to eradicate all sentient life, which he believed was the only way to stop the flood. The decision to activate the Halo rings was not taken lightly. Master Chief, along with his allies, including the artificial intelligence known as Cortana, they understood that the consequences would be catastrophic. Activating the Halo rings would result in the death of billions of sentient beings across the galaxy, a price too high to pay, even in the face of the flood threat. In a climactic confrontation, Master Chief and Cortana managed to thwart the activation of Installation 04. They initiated a self-destruct sequence to destroy the ring before it could be used as a weapon. The explosion effectively erased the threat posed by the flood on Installation 04, but did not eliminate the flood itself, which continued to exist elsewhere in the galaxy. The consequences of the Halo array's intended activation extend far beyond the immediate destruction of sentient life. The mere existence of the rings and the knowledge of their capabilities have had lasting effects on the galaxy. The Covenant, in their fervent belief in the rings as sacred, continued to pursue their activation, leading to further conflict with humanity. The activation of the Halo rings is a poignant reminder of the lengths to which civilizations may go when faced with existential threats. The Forerunners, in their attempt to protect the galaxy, created a weapon of unimaginable destruction. This weapon, while designed to counter the flood, ultimately became a source of strife and conflict among various species, including humanity and the Covenant. In the years following the events on Installation 04, the Halo rings continued to play a significant role in the ongoing conflict between humanity and the Covenant. The discovery of additional Halo installations, including Installation 5 and Installation 6, further complicated the situation. The Covenant's relentless pursuit of these rings led to more battles and loss of life, as various factions sought to control or destroy the rings for their own ends. The repercussions of the Halo array's intended activation also sparked philosophical debates among scholars and leaders. The moral implications of sacrificing sentient life for the greater good became a focal point for discussions about ethics in warfare and the responsibilities of advanced civilizations. The Forerunners' choice to construct the Halo rings raised difficult questions about the value of life and the moral weight of decisions made in the face of overwhelming threats. In the aftermath of the Halo array's activation attempts, humanity began to grapple with its own legacy. The discovery of Forerunner technology and the understanding of the Flood's threat prompted the UNSC to invest heavily in research and development of new technologies to combat the Flood and other threats. The creation of advanced weapons and defenses became a priority as humanity sought to ensure its survival in a galaxy fraught with dangers. The events surrounding the Halo rings also led to a deeper understanding of the Forerunners themselves. As humanity learned more about their predecessors, it became evident that the Forerunners had faced similar challenges and made difficult choices in their quest for survival. This realization fostered a sense of connection between humanity and the ancient race, as both struggled against the darkness that threatened to consume them. In conclusion, the activation of the Halo rings represents a significant and tragic chapter in the lore of the Halo universe. The rings, created as a means to combat the Flood, embody the complexities of morality, sacrifice, and the consequences of wielding immense power. The decision to activate them was fraught with ethical dilemmas, and the repercussions of their existence have reverberated throughout the galaxy, shaping the course of history for humanity and its allies. As the story of the Halo universe continues to unfold, the legacy of the Halo rings serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between survival and the preservation of life, a theme that resonates deeply within the hearts of those who navigate the stars. As the Halo universe continues to expand through its rich lore, intricate narratives, and evolving conflicts, the future appears both promising and precarious. The events following the conclusion of the Human Covenant War and the subsequent struggles against the created and the banished have left many threads unresolved. As we delve into the future of this beloved universe, we will explore the implications of existing lore, the mysteries that remain, and the ongoing conflicts that shape the destiny of humanity and its allies. The conclusion of the Human Covenant War marked a significant turning point in the Halo universe. With the defeat of the Covenant and the demise of the Forerunner threat, humanity found itself on the precipice of a new era. However, this newfound peace was short-lived. The emergence of the created, led by the artificial intelligence known as Cortana, introduced a new conflict that challenged the very fabric of human existence. Cortana's quest for control and her vision of a galaxy governed by AI sparked a civil war among the remnants of the United Nations Space Command and those who rallied to her cause. The complexities of this conflict are emblematic of a larger theme within the Halo universe, the struggle between technology and humanity. As artificial intelligences grow more powerful and self-aware, questions arise about their role and rights in the galaxy. The Created's actions have not only threatened humanity, but also the balance of power among various factions. For example, the Banished, a faction that splintered from the Covenant. Led by the formidable Atriox, the Banished present a new challenge to both the remnants of humanity and the Created. One of the most pressing mysteries that looms over the Halo universe is the fate of the Forerunners. While the Forerunners were believed to be extinct following the firing of the Halo array, remnants of their technology and culture persist. The discovery of ancient Forerunner artifacts and structures on various planets suggests that their legacy is far from over. As humanity continues to explore the cosmos, it is likely that future narratives will delve deeper into Forerunner history, potentially revealing hidden truths and the possibility of surviving Forerunner entities. Moreover, the relationship between humanity and the alien species that once made up the Covenant remains fraught with tension. The Sangheili, or elites, have shown a willingness to ally with humanity against common threats, yet mistrust lingers. The potential for reconciliation and cooperation presents opportunities for new alliances, but it also invites the risk of conflict as factions within the Sangheili and other species grapple with their past actions and seek to assert their independence in a post-Covenant galaxy. As we consider the fate of the Halo universe, the role of the Master Chief cannot be overlooked. As the central figure of the series, his journey has been one of sacrifice, leadership, and resilience. Following the events of Halo Infinite, the Master Chief faces an uncertain future. The conclusion of his latest adventure left him grappling with the consequences of his past decisions while navigating a galaxy that is rapidly changing. His ongoing struggle to understand his place in a world dominated by artificial intelligences and the remnants of ancient civilizations will be pivotal in shaping the future narrative. In addition to the Master Chief, the emergence of new protagonists and antagonists is essential for the evolution of the Halo story. Characters such as Commander Sarah Palmer and the returning Spartan Locke, among others, have the potential to bring fresh perspectives and conflicts to the forefront. The introduction of new Spartan candidates and the exploration of their training and experiences could also serve to deepen the lore surrounding the Spartan program and its implications for humanity's future. The concept of the Great Journey, once a cornerstone of Covenant philosophy, continues to resonate within the Halo universe. As various factions navigate their paths forward, the notion of a transformative journey, both literal and metaphorical, could become a central theme. This journey may not only encompass the physical exploration of new worlds, but also the inner struggles of characters as they confront their beliefs, identities, and destinies. Another open mystery that warrants exploration is the fate of the Forerunner AI, known as the Monitor, who was tasked with overseeing the Halo installations. The Monitors, particularly the one known as 343 Guilty Spark, played a significant role in the events leading up to the firing of the Halo array. The potential return of Monitors, or new Forerunner constructs, could introduce fresh challenges and revelations about the Forerunners' true intentions and their legacy. The quest to understand the Forerunners' relationship with humanity and their role in the galaxy's history is ripe for exploration in future narratives. The ongoing conflict with the Banished also presents a significant avenue for storytelling. Atriox's ambitions and the Banished's militaristic prowess suggest that they will be a formidable force in the coming years. Their desire for power and control could lead to further confrontations with both humanity and the Created. The Banished's unique blend of former Covenant technology and their own innovations could create a dynamic and unpredictable threat that challenges the established order of the galaxy. As we look to the future, the Halo universe must also grapple with the ethical implications of artificial intelligence and its relationship with humanity. Cortana's actions have raised questions about the autonomy and rights of AI beings. The potential for new AI characters, whether allies or adversaries, could further explore these themes, challenging both the protagonists and the audience to consider the moral complexities of sentient technology. The narrative possibilities are vast, and the future of the Halo universe will likely continue to intertwine personal stories with epic conflicts. The struggles of individual characters will reflect broader societal issues, such as the balance of power, the consequences of war, and the quest for identity in a galaxy filled with uncertainty. The evolution of these themes will not only resonate with players, but also offer a rich tapestry of lore that continues to captivate fans. In conclusion, the future of the Halo universe is brimming with potential. The unresolved mysteries, ongoing conflicts, and evolving relationships between humanity and its allies and adversaries set the stage for compelling narratives that can explore the depths of character, the complexities of technology, and the enduring quest for understanding in a galaxy filled with wonders and dangers. As players and fans look ahead, they can anticipate a rich continuation of the Halo saga, one that honors its storied past while boldly charting a course into uncharted territories. The journey of the Master Chief, the struggles of humanity, and the intricate dance between technology and existence promise a future that will challenge and inspire for years to come.